type of plane involved, a CRJ-700, is a small regional jet like the ones that SkyWest flies in and out of Sioux City's Sioux Gateway Airport. We're also a community that's dealt with a deadly plane crash when United Airlines Flight 232 crashed at Sioux Gateway on July 19, 1989. Joining me now is a man who was there that day when Flight 232 crashed. Richard Swetnam, you know aviation, you know air traffic control. You were also a military pilot. So you worked in air traffic control for 30 years. Tell me what that job was like. What were the responsibilities that you had when you were in the tower?
Well, the actual tower in Sioux City, upstairs where all the glass is, that's the tower cab. And they control the runways and all the aircraft within about 5 or 10 miles. And then downstairs on the 4th floor is the radar room, and it's dark. It's really dark. And we control everything from about 10 miles out to about 40 miles all the way around Sioux City. And our job is to separate airplanes, separate in sequence.
When you were here on that day, July 19th, 1989, you arrived about an hour after the crash.
Yes.
What was your role in the response?
Okay, once I got there, it was silence up in the tower cab because everybody was in shock. So Brad Reisinger and I got there. Brad took over the tower cab side, so he worked the runways and mostly helicopters because the airport was closed. And he worked the rescue helicopters coming in and out and all that. Then I took the radar side, and then I worked everything out to about 40 miles. So I controlled all the mostly media coming in from every direction, from New York and just everywhere. And everybody wanted to take pictures of the airplane or of the crash, but they couldn't get any lower than 5,000 feet. So we had to bring them in and put them in holding patterns above the airport at 5, 6, 7, and 8, so they could get their pictures. And then when they were done, they said, "Okay, we need to land." Well, we were closed, so if they were a bigger airplane, we had to send them someplace else. So we had to arrange for Lamar's, Vermilion, just wherever to send them. And it was busy.
Yeah, your job that day, again, as you said before, stacking aircraft.
Yeah, and it was the busiest I've ever been for 2 hours that day.
Let's talk about your experience as a military pilot. You're making an approach to an airfield like Sioux Gateway, you know, a mix of traffic coming in and out, or maybe even congested airspace like Washington, D.C., maybe Reagan National. When you've got the headset on, what are you listening for from air traffic control?
Well, first, I was a transport pilot. And usually the hardest part of a flight is your approach and landing. And that's after you've been in the air for 12 hours. And so you're tired. And so you're having trouble staying awake. And then that's when you have to be your sharpest. So you've got a co-pilot, you've got a flight engineer that's listening. And then you just have to pay attention, be aware of where everybody else is, but listen for your call sign, because whenever they call your call sign, you got to do what they say, and then you have to respond back to them so they know what you're supposed to be doing.
As you said, listening closely and paying as close of attention as you can.
Yeah, it's a two-way street.
Richard Swetnam, we appreciate the insight tonight. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.